Welcome to a short, low-tech version of mooring area sailing. Becoming a proficient mooring sailor or becoming proficient sailing in the mooring area will make you a better sailor in general. And the only way you're going to become more proficient sailing in the mooring area is to go out and sail in the mooring area. The best time to do that is in the spring when it's not as crowded. You can use the few boats that are there as well as the winter logs and the mooring buoys that are there, and pretend that the winter logs and the mooring buoys are actually boats to help you find the paths that you need to learn to sail through efficiently. Some of the key tips to navigating safely through the mooring area. Speed is your friend. Keep moving, even if it means that you have to temporarily go in a direction that's away from your intended destination. You need to keep moving, because if you aren't moving, you're losing steerage. And then if you're not able to steer the boat, we got big problems. Active sail trim. Sail should never be luffing unless you're in your final approach to docking or you're actually picking up a mooring. When sailing upwind, be careful not to over trim the main and stall the boat out. When it seems like you've got plenty of wind but the boat keeps slowing down and your sail isn't luffing, then you're stalling the boat out. When in doubt, let it out. Ease the main until it just starts to lose shape. And not till it's luffing, but till it starts to lose shape. And then just bring it in just a little bit. Also, when sailing upwind, always stay close to objects that are upwind. Usually that's the stern of other boats. It's the issue of avoiding being trapped on a lee shore. We want to stay close to the things upwind. We want to leave room for things that are downwind, so we could always fall off safely if we needed to be able to get out of the no-go zone or to fall off and sail away in a different direction. Have your escape plan, if you will. When sailing upwind, you should never be even close to parallel to other boats that are in the mooring area, in theory, pointing upwind. Because if they're pointing upwind and you're parallel to them, then even close to parallel, then you're in the no-go zone and you're losing steerage. As you sail through the mooring area, prior to tacking, try to visualize, imagine the line, the path that you want to take next through the mooring area. You're sailing along and you see the path through an area of boats that you'd like to be on. Visualize that line on the upwind side of that path so that, again, you stay close to the upwind objects and boats, but then sail to the point that your stern of the boat is at or just past that line, and then tack. That will set you up to be safely on the line that you want to be on a point of sail that keeps you well out of the no-go zone. Sometimes if we tack too early, we find ourselves caught in a no-go zone and we don't have a safe option at that point. Minimize the time that you actually spend in the mooring area. Except when you're practicing, don't just wander around in the mooring area or sail way to the north just because it seems like a fun thing to do. Develop a plan that gets you efficiently and effectively from the docks to Area A or from Area A to the docks with the least amount of time in the mooring area. One of the other tips is to watch how much time you have to spend in wind shadows. Anytime we have a southeast, east, or southwest wind, there's going to be a wind shadow created by the sailing center land area, the wall, and the dock area. You'll see that because the water right near the sailing center docks or that steel wall is going to be very calm, and you'll see it ripple when you get out a little ways. So you want to minimize how much time you have to spend in the wind shadow because there's no wind there. Without any wind, it's hard to keep moving. When the wind direction will allow, sail the edge of the channel, meaning stay just to the northern edge of the channel, but before you get into the mooring area, sail along the edge of the channel where you're away from the power boats and you're clear of the power boats that need to be in the channel. But then you can also sail, you know, right up the channel without having to actually traverse through the mooring area. Anytime we have a westerly wind, southwest, west, or northwest wind, the mooring area can get to be very problematic. And it gets to be very problematic because the big buildings in downtown Milwaukee cause the wind to shift and turn and become kind of unstable, if you will, in terms of the direction. So the best thing to do when you're going out's no problem. It's when you're coming back in from area A. The best thing to do, just when we have these westerly winds, is as you come into the mooring area, try to make as much westerly progress as you can, but sail all the way across the mooring area. This is the only time you really should be going to the northern edges of the mooring field. Sail all the way to the northern edge of the mooring area, trying to make as much progress as you can, but being very alert to the fact that the winds are going to be shifting all the time, and you think that you're sailing along fine on a close reach, and suddenly your sail starts to luff. You need to be falling off right away because you've had a wind shift. Work your way all the way to the northern area, and then tack and come back. That normally allows you to make the best progress and the safest amount of progress to get back over to the dock area. Even when sailing upwind, tacking isn't always the answer. Sometimes actually falling off and jibing, if you will, doing that, well, almost a complete circle back around, will get you headed and repositioned in a much better spot depending on where you're trying to go. So don't get closed-minded. The only thing you can do is to tack. In really light winds, say 5 knots or less, it's really helpful to get the crew on your boat to sit on the low side, the leeward side of the boat, and actually heel the boat slightly. That'll give you more draft in your sail, and that means more power. Along with that, when sailing in really light winds, keep the tiller as quiet as you can. Lots of back and forth movements will create drag on the tiller and actually slow the boat. Drag on the rudder, I should say. When you're trying to turn the boat in super light winds, and particularly when the boat's already not moving much at all, turning the tiller hard to one side or the other will only act as a break in the water. You actually have to keep the tiller pretty much midship till you start to pick up a little speed and then ease the tiller away.